Well, looking at his pace, looking at the gap to Carlos, we're pretty confident he would have been able to catch and pass on track. Do we think we would have been able to fix George's damage in time had he been able to bring the car back? Well, the first issue is he tried to get the car back, but he couldn't. And with it being on 3 wheels, it's a long, long way to drive it round in that condition. Next question, could we have fixed it? Well, we'd have had a pretty good go. It would have needed a new floor, there was damage to the bin deflector, there was a bit of bodywork damage, but had he got it back, we would have certainly done everything to get him back in the race. How is George? Well, he's good, but the first thing was just he was relieved to see that Shov was okay after that accident. You saw he jumped out of the car, run over to see if there was anything that he could do to help. When he got back to the pits, he was obviously frustrated that he couldn't take part in the race. He was desperate to take part in the British Grand Prix to try and put on a show for the crowds, and really that was the biggest disappointment. But he was pleased with the pace of the car over the weekend. He's excited that we've got Austria just in a couple of days. So really he's looking forward to just getting back in the car and trying to get some more points on the board for the team. How much difference did the new upgrades make? Well, the key thing for us here was seeing that they actually performed as expected. And they did that. They were delivering a few tenths more downforce to the car. And we think that we saw that in terms of the performance on the weekend. The other thing that was nice to see was that there was a bit less bouncing, the car was behaving a bit more normally. It was easier for the drivers to work with it to tune the balance. So overall, it was a pleasing result for us, not just to see Lewis on the podium, but to see that update kit perform as we hoped. In retrospect, would we have chosen to put Lewis on the medium tyre at the restart? Well, no, we would always still go for the soft tyre, and there's 2 reasons for that. The soft tyre is quicker until about lap 10. So over the short race that we effectively had after the restart, you're always going to be better on the soft. But the other issue was that Lewis was struggling a bit on the warm-up. And had he been on the medium tyre, that would have been just a bit more difficult. So the soft was definitely the right choice at that point. Well, the roar of the British crowd was indeed very loud. And certainly as engineers, we can hear it on the pit wall, in the garage. Even the drivers can hear it in the car. And when you consider that they've got earpieces that are pushed into their ears to try and shut out the noise, they're wearing a helmet, they've got a 1,000 horsepower engine right behind them, they can still hear that. And that is one of the things that makes Silverstone so special, and we are really looking forward to next year when we get to go back there again. Well, this is a good question, and we've all been wondering, would Lewis have been able to win the race without that safety car? Well, looking at his pace, looking at the gap to Carlos, we're pretty confident he would have been able to catch and pass on track. The bigger question is Charles was a bit further up the road and a little bit quicker car. So whether he would have been able to catch him, we don't know. And the reality is we would have had to see that play out on track to know what the real answer is. Lewis's pace was matching the Ferraris, and indeed at times he was a little bit quicker, which was really encouraging to see. But was this down to the fact we could run the car closer to the ground? Was it that the track's a lot smoother at Silverstone, or the updates? Well, the reality in terms of how we were running the car, that was quite normal for ride heights and everything. But it is a smooth circuit, and while we're working to make sure that our car works well on bumpy tracks, we've still got a bit to do there. So no doubt the smooth track helped a bit towards that performance. And then also, yes, the updates did play a part, and that was encouraging to see, because that's the bit that will carry into the next race, the race beyond. But we need to build on this performance because we know that we're not quite quick enough just yet. So thank you very much for all of your questions. We're going to be back after the Austrian Grand Prix in 1 week's time to answer some more.